Right. Video today. Things have come up. There's now people queuing at petrol stations, filling their tanks up because they think there's going to be a fuel shortage. What's happened is two petrol companies, I think BP and someone else, have not got enough drivers to deliver the fuel to the petrol stations. So people have sort of thought, there's not going to be any fuel, let's go and get some. So there's people filling up all kinds of receptacles and their cars, obviously to tank in the car, and then loads of fuel tanks, jerry cans, all sorts. And there's lots of this on the news, and there's big queues and everything. Now, we knew there was going to be a bit of a crisis, and it's basically down to not enough lorry drivers, and quite a few independents as well. What's happened is the lockdown's come, they've reassessed their life, and basically realised that the lorry driver's life is quite a difficult one, because you've got to maintain the lorry, could be expensive. You've got all kinds of sort of agencies breathing down your neck, making sure you don't go overweight and all sorts of other things, and over your tachograph with the sleeping pattern, speed, loads of different things that the agencies are onto you about. And then you're paying the same price for your diesel for the lorry, which is important, as you are with somebody going for a country drive in their diesel car. You're paying the same price. Now, farmers, for instance, that's quite an important job, are allowed to use red diesel, which is a lot cheaper than pump diesel, due to the tax, which I'm going to come to in a minute, which is an absolute eye-opener. So, lorry driver goes into a petrol station, pays the same amount per litre, obviously using a lot more, but what is red diesel price for farmers? Pump prices are £1.30 per litre in the UK, down the road here. Red diesel price is 60 something pence, and it's not due to the what the companies pay, because it's the same price. It's the tax reduction from the government. Now let's have a quick look at that. 41 pence to get 1 litre of fuel out of the ground, refined and delivered to the petrol station, is 41 pence ish. And I think that was when the price was £1.13. I've looked at this on the internet, which I don't normally do, but it's the only place you can get these figures. So then the government take, with the okay, it hasn't gone up for 10 years, but the fuel price escalator years ago made it something like 62% tax, nearly 70p tax. Not 62 pence it was then. So it must be over 70 pence now. Then the government, on top of that, charge value added tax, 18%, or what is it, 20% or 24% now? I don't know, it might be worth looking. But what you're looking at is a colossal amount of money going to the government, whereby they could reduce that for the lorry drivers. And I'm hearing from my friend up the road here, who's got a store with a petrol station, that he only has about 5 pence to play with out of that fuel price. Then he's got a war going on with all the other petrol stations in the area, which there's a lot. So what does he do? You know, you've got a few pence per litre to play with. So if somebody fills up their tank with 70 litres, you know, you've got 5 times 70 in sales, not profit, sales. So there's that fuel problem too for the lorry drivers, who are, like I say, are charged as much tax as everybody else. So that goes back to the manufacturers who want their loads delivered, which now there's so little in it that a lot of people are backed out. It's just too difficult. And then when you go to get your lorry driver's licence, there's backlogs, there's really incredibly strict test. The lorries cost a fortune. They have to be in absolute tip-top condition, which costs money. You know, it's just over and over there's this big problem, which is why we're where we're at. You know, we've got to make it much easier for people to get licences, for the existing lorry drivers to want to be in the business, because they've been complaining for years. We've had, you know, road blockages and all sorts in the past because of protests for lorries, and really nobody is listening. You know, you can block roads till you're blue in the face, and the government don't pay any attention. They just prosecute you and get more money. You know, all to do with money. So what do we do about that? Well, the first thing is to drop the price of the diesel for lorry drivers. If not, even allow them to use red diesel, which a lot of people are doing anyway because they can't afford real diesel. If somebody's got a farm, you know, some people have even installed 2 fuel tanks with a switch, which is why I think it's the people who test the random tests on your tank for fuel now go for the pipe going into the engine, because they know that somewhere on that vehicle there's going to be some sort of contraption to check the, you know, to use red diesel but not pay for pump diesel. And there's lots of different things, but people can't afford tax, insurance and MOT or the price of fuel, but still have to run a van. So a lot of people are just going around saying they sold the van if somebody rings up. Yeah. Or using someone else's numbers, which is increasing. But like I say, lorry drivers, this virus we just had, or still got, you know, they were the backbone. They were the ones still delivering to the supermarkets, and the ones on the road, virtually non-stop, because we were being greedy and taking everything off the shelves. So, you know, so that's what's happened. So that's why we're going to have shortages, not because there isn't enough food or isn't enough fuel. It's to do with not enough drivers, basically. And this has been ongoing for months, and the government just don't seem to have done anything that I've noticed. They might have done. They might have been saying, oh, in 2 years' time we'll change this and we'll change, you know. I just don't know. But like I say, I've heard down the line somewhere that they're making it much sort of less lenient for things like reversing. But I would have said the reversing bit was the most important bit of driving a lorry. And you know, I mean, I've driven 7.5 tonners, which is nothing like an Arctic, but I've had to take corners at you know, by pulling out a bit, etc. And I've had to back them up, and that's difficult enough. In fact, I've found tanks and armoured cars easier. But this one, yeah, so this is a strange one, but it'll be ongoing, and ongoing with other products too. So it's got to be sorted out. It's got to be lucrative for them to be in the job. It's got to be cheaper to run. and easier to get. Easier to get finance for a lorry once you've got an H.G.V. licence, because obviously you're going to get work, so they're going to finance you if you show your H.G.V. certificate. Cheaper insurance, lots of different things could be done to help. I haven't heard of any of them yet, but let's see what happens. But somebody was also saying about bringing in foreign lorry drivers. Well, why do that? Just make it, you know, it's going to be just as hard for them when they come in. They're only here because they want to be in England. So if they do lose their jobs, they get the benefits. I don't know. Anyway, thanks again to all the truckers that have carried on going when everyone else stopped. We probably wouldn't. I wouldn't be as fat as I am, and I expect a lot of people would, especially old people, would have suffered, you know, horrendously. And also to do with its supermarkets delivering, because you know we didn't go out of our gate for months on end. All Asda deliveries, buying stuff. The post office was still running. I used to be a postman, and I used to. That's just before the virus, about a year before, maybe 6 months before. And I have always wanted to be a postman, so I did a year and a half at our local depot to see what it was like. And even that had changed. And they've got the same problem. They're still running, they might get a bit cheaper fuel because they buy in bulk. But you know, the tax is still there. And the government sitting there laughing. You know, the same with the lorry drivers. You know, they might do the little demo every now and again, but they just don't react. They just don't look at it and think, are we really doing the right thing? They just want the money in. And us even more so after the virus, I suppose. But if they want to get things moving, they've got to make it easier for this lot. Look at what's happening. I've put truckers and trucks there for the Americans. I don't know what's happening in America. I'm sure it's much easier. The only thing is the distances. You'd be using a lot more fuel. But, yeah. But the fuel price escalator, you know, that was put in place originally to wean people off of fuel cars and buy electric. Was one of the latest reasons. But electric cars are too expensive. Nobody's going to buy an electric car, you know, except if they've got money to burn, or it comes with the company. You know, they need to do something about that as well. Elon Musk's electric truck, that looks pretty tasty. They look futuristic. They've got pretty much everything in them, including self-backing, self-reversing. It's quite amazing. Which means you can stand at the back of the truck shouting orders. I like that, it's funny. Anyway, lorries and drivers, again, thanks for all your help, and let's see what the Americans say. If you like, if you don't want to appear on, because my YouTube videos are being watched, so basically don't, and that's not might be being watched, that's through our own people in the agencies that do the watching telling us. So we know they're being watched. So if I was you, I would watch these videos not on your own YouTube channel. Go off of the channel first, then find it, and then watch it, and then destroy your history. That's the best way. And but if you want to talk to me about this, you can. If you're not frightened of the government, you can put it in the comments below. But otherwise, I'll put this. Right, that says, so nobody can see it on there, trucks with an S, at project hyphen, that's a line in the middle, project-x.org.uk. That's trucks at project-x.org.uk. If you didn't hear me the first time, and if so, yeah, certainly what we do, our intelligence section gathers all the information together and forms our own unbiased opinion, not given by agencies, given by actual people on the ground. That's how we form our intelligence, and the intelligence won't be used anywhere except for us, and to talk to you about it on here. So there we go. So that, you know, we get the truth basically. Okay, right, thank you very much.